But I think our country, from an economic standpoint, will end up being stronger than ever. We have tremendous stimulus. We have tremendous stimulus plans. We have things in the works that are going to really, I think, fire the country. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to have a big bounce rather than a small bounce.
Well, that is certainly the hope. And let's bring in Karl Rove, former senior advisor to and deputy chief of staff to President George W. Bush, Fox News contributor, outstanding columnist for the Wall Street Journal. So, Karl, I know what the president wants, but how much is riding on how we come back and when we come back?
Well, I think a lot rides on it. It's not a simple equation, though. It's not like, okay, how quickly do we get back and how big do we get back? To some degree, people understand we're in a very bad situation economically because of a virus. So they're going to be looking at what the president is attempting to do, and they're not going to hold him, you know, it's not like we got to return to yesterday today, but they want to know that we're moving in the right direction, and it's going to have a huge impact on the fall election. Presidents who are in recessions tend to lose. Presidents who are not in recessions tend to win. And but we've never been in a circumstance like this where the country has suffered economic contraction because of a virus this close to a presidential election.
Yeah, he has about 7 more months to hopefully turn this economy around. Is that enough time?
Well, look, again, it gets back to, you know, it is the perception that we're going in the right place. And people are not going to hold the president responsible for being in the bad economic straits. That was the virus. Their question is going to be, does he seem to be doing the things that are reasonable and prudent to get us back to economic health as rapidly as possible? And that's a different judgment than is everything great for me today? Maybe it's not great, but I know the president's doing the right thing and we're moving in the right direction as a country. That's more important. But it's going to be tough. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Think about it. He's had 2 huge challenges. The challenge of confronting the coronavirus and now restarting the economy.
Karl, would it be safe to say that Donald Trump's presidency and reelection hangs on how he handles this?
Well, yes, as long as this is both things. People are going to judge him on the coronavirus handling. They're going to judge him on the economy. And again, though, we got to be a little, you know, think about it from the perspective of the ordinary American. They're not saying, well, he caused the virus. And they're not going to say he caused the contraction. They're going to say, how does he seem to be handling this, and does he seem to be moving us in the right direction? The good news for him is that his critics on the other side, Vice President Biden is not a particularly effective critic on the coronavirus, and he's got a lot of weaknesses in both how he approaches the issue and in his own record. I mean, remember, it is the Obama-Biden administration that failed, for reasons that I find completely inexplicable, failed to replenish the national strategic stockpile of masks and protective gear for our first responders and hospital workers when they ran it down in a previous challenge to the country. When those stocks were reduced, they didn't rebuild them, which is why part of the problem that we have today in providing the equipment for our first responders, our hospital personnel, our medical professionals, the personal protective equipment and the masks and so forth, because the stockpiles that we had for exactly this kind of a moment were run down previously. And then, of course, this new ad that the Trump campaign has released on China, I think, is particularly devastating, because at a moment when Trump was taking a very tough stance, Biden was attacking him, calling him xenophobic and racist. And now, in retrospect, it was one of the reasons why that we are in better shape than we would have been if we had not taken that tough step.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting because Joe Biden seems to be a big fan of China, and he's caught on tape many times doing that. I don't know if that's going to work on his behalf. Karl Rove, thanks so much.
Thank you, Karl.